Making cardboard tanks are difficult if you make them from scratch, which was what I've been doing for several years, and is why I quit. But recently, I got a brand new laser cutter. It's a super useful tool to cut wood, plastics, and cardboard using some code. So what? Well, that means I can use a template online to cut out a tank at home, making it infinitely more easier to build a cardboard tank. Basically, someone else can design the tank for you, which a machine can then cut out for you, and then all you have to do is put it together. Doing this is a lot less time consuming, and it'll be what I'm trying out today. So how does it work exactly? Well, I'll simply search up laser cutting tank templates online and find one I like. Unfortunately, there is only a few of these templates to go around, but this super detailed Abrams, I think it's an Abrams, is pretty hot. But wait a minute, this is for wood. This isn't a cardboard tank. Luckily, I don't really see a problem. It's a pretty easy download off this sketchy website, although some people paid for it on Etsy. The only issue was the file type. My laser engravers use a simple image to cut, so I had to convert whatever this was to a PNG. Now all I need is a laser engraver and we can start. Welcome to the workshop, aka my garage. This template is a little iffy and sketchy. It has no instructions or scaling information. I ended up having to scale it myself with some math. For this tank, I'll be making it 1:32 scale to fit my other tanks. But since this tank doesn't really have a real life counterpart, I'll just go off vague numbers. I decided not to paint this tank because I wanted to try out the cardboard aesthetic for once. And hopefully it will also give me some more views. Today is a special day because I'll be using a brand new laser engraver I got. This is the Jacoda L1 laser engraver. It's relatively inexpensive, boasting a 10-watt laser capable of cutting all of these. From my experience, it ships pretty compact and neatly, with only minor assembly. The only issue is that this thing, the thing that protects your table from the laser, is sold separately. If you're looking to cut materials like thin wood and cardboard, then this laser engraver will meet your needs. To use it, just plug it into a laptop and use a laser engraving program of your choice. It's pretty simple once you get into it. Just import the photo, make the laser cut along the black lines, then set the size and the power. The great thing about a laser engraver is that you can make this tank out of any material by adjusting its cutting power. Wood is obviously much more expensive, so that's why I use some cardboard. When I was younger, lasers were part of science fiction, but now I have one in my garage. Cutting went well, but I made a rookie cardboard crafting mistake, which was using thick, ugly cardboard. I guess I'm a bit rusty. Instead, I decided to use some Nike boxes with some much more thinner cardboard that is more sleek, smooth, and easier to cut. They get free advertising because their cardboard is just so good. I even bribed my cousins for some. Time to try again. Only after a couple minutes, this whole section is done. This time the pieces fall off cleanly, and it kind of reminds me of model kits and their sprues. Since this tank requires a lot of pieces, we will just rinse and repeat. Building a tank like this from scratch would have taken me at least 2 weeks of planning, 2 weeks of designing and cutting to be capable of this. Now all of that was done in just a few minutes. Maybe that's why I quit all that stuff. Laser engraving can be daunting because of how new and unfamiliar this technology is. However, the results are just so worth it. The preciseness the engraver presents saves countless hours, and it can cut things a human could just never cut with a pair of scissors. If you didn't know, I love good old brown cardboard. This kinda disgusts me. A whole pile of pieces is done cutting within a couple hours. Since bugs were starting to eat me within the garage, I moved inside. Assembly is what I looked forward to, but it was also very frustrating. This is because, for some reason, the person that made this template decided to not include any instructions whatsoever. I simply had to go off the images of the tank to build the tank, which was very difficult. Without any help, I decided to build the largest parts of the tank first to get the big pieces out of the way. And since this is cardboard and not Legos, we will be using some glue. Since cardboard and glue don't magically stick together, it takes much more patience than Legos or a model kit to assemble. On camera, it doesn't look like it, but I was going crazy at how hard it was to figure out this dumb design. It's like a puzzle. Oh, it is a puzzle. My best advice is that if you're ever gonna pay for one of these templates, you better make sure it has instructions. Please. Once I figured it out, it's actually pretty easy to assemble, but there are some places that make it extremely difficult. While building this, you may have noticed that I try to keep the cardboard on the outside. Gotta keep it clean and nice, hiding all the glue and colors. As I continued to build the model, this peg design was not working out too well because the cardboard was just too flimsy. Therefore, I just cut it off. After the tank was completed, details were added. It is a similar process to making a cardboard tank that I have done so many times before. Luckily this time it is much easier and faster. I know during this build I am skipping over a lot of different steps, but I don't really think that anyone else could build this model the same exact way I am, because I'm basically freehanding it. This is because the pictures of the model we're making right now doesn't actually match the templates. For example, the mantle on the model that is shown looks like this, while the mantle that is given looks like this. Why is it like this? I have no clue. But it just means whatever I'm making right now is gonna be really original. The great thing about having a laser engraver is that you have full control of what to cut. I needed some extra pieces to finish up the model, so I just went to the workshop and got some more. During my time there, I did experience a funky issue with the laser engraver, and I have to say that this laser engraver can be a little odd at times. I assume these are just software glitches, but just be wary of them. For the most part though, the Jacoda does its job. I mean, you can't complain when you get results that look like this. Back when I handmade cardboard tanks, I used to fear making wheels because of how repetitive and tiring the process was. But with a laser engraver, I can safely say that making wheels is actually fun. To attach the wheels, I used some wooden cocktail sticks, and these are basically the only non-cardboard material used on this build. Luckily, no one is going to see the bottom of this tank, so I don't really care. Making the tracks were interesting. They were very fragile, but incredibly advanced. Just like real tracks, they were assembled link by link. Afterwards, they are glued to the wheels. The final step to the build is to paint it. I'm not painting the whole tank, but I am covering up some of the neon bits on the tank because I found them distracting to look at. And with that, the model is basically done. If you want to make a tank just like this one, I would not recommend this template. Whoever made it sucks, and it motivates me to make my own better tank templates to save others from this horrible mess. But one thing is for sure, laser engravers rock. With the right template, you can get a model kit made right at home without that much of a cost or that much time taken. If you're interested in the Dakota L1, you can check it out in the description below. It is much more worth it than buying some model kits, so perhaps it's worth an investment. As always guys, take care and be sure to make some more fun.